took one goal this evening, did he, for Italy to clinch it, but a very deserved victory.
No, it was a deserved win. They had the better chances, and they deserved the win. I think the goal is a bit fortunate. It's a badly executed free kick, really. Verratti didn't mean that, and it's just fortunate here that Pisani gets into a position on the near post where a Welsh player should be. Morales behind him. He should always occupy that spot. The first player always got to be a defender. So even if somebody attempts to get in front of you, you need to make sure you're first. And usually they're pretty solid defending set pieces. In this case, they weren't. But as you said, overall, a well-deserved win for Italy.
And as we look at the second half chances, Liam, should there be any concern at all amongst Italian supporters, or indeed within the team, that they didn't convert one or two more?
Yeah, Belotti would be kicking himself. He should have scored tonight. He was trying to make an impression, but he missed a few chances. That's Chiesa showing what he can do, but his shot was awful. This is Chiesa again showing his pace and power. This is a lad that might have played himself in the team. He's got Bernardi to replace if he does on that right-hand side, but he showed his pace and his power. Pulls it back for Belotti and he doesn't convert. Again, building up down the right. Good ball into Jorginho. He cuts it back. No good. That's Emerson. Couldn't get a shot away. Good defending from Wales. But the Italians dominated the early part of the second half. This is Belotti swivelling, but he hits it too central and Ward saves. And then coming towards the middle of the half, I think both teams settled for the scoreline, Peter. Yeah. It's not often that both managers are happy when there's a defeat. Usually if it's a draw, they're quite happy. But I think the Welsh manager will be very pleased with how it's panned out.
And just another question on the 1-0 scoreline. Will it allow Ciro Immobile come straight back into the side, in your view?
I think so. I think Belotti didn't do enough to replace him. He's the central. Those two guys are the main strikers, and I didn't think Belotti did enough. And Immobile has, as we know, 2 goals already in both games. He's scored a goal in each game. So I think he'll lead the line. But the question's going to be, has anybody else played their way into this team?
Yeah, and they possibly have, which we'll get to in a moment. But first of all, Didi, 1-0, always a fragile scoreline, no matter how much you're dominating the game. And we're going to have a look at a couple of Wales' chances from the second half. But Bales in particular was almost gilt-edged for him. Yeah,
Page decided to bring the big man Kiefer Moore on.
Yeah.
And it kind of relieved the pressure. This is a mistake from Ajerbi, who came in at half-time. And I think Ramsey's in 2 or 3 minds. He doesn't really know what to do. He hasn't got any options. Maybe he should have just pulled the trigger, even if it's a tight angle. And this is a fantastic header by Rodon, who heads it across goal. Bailey's on his own on the far post, and I think he hits it in the end with or off his shin. This is a chance. I think you can wake him up at 3 in the morning. He should put 100 from 100 away. He's got to score from there. He didn't. They probably wouldn't have deserved it, but it just shows that they didn't play well in the first half. They are a different team with Kiefer Moore in the team, and he will play. So I wouldn't go too hard on them on today's performance. They did what they had to do. They had a tough group with Switzerland and Turkey. They finished second, which I don't think too many people expected. No. So you've got to give it to them, take their hats off to them there in the next round, and they've got a pretty favourable draw. And with Moore back in the team, I wouldn't bet against him to go into the quarters.
Yeah, I suppose what we also got to keep in mind, Liam, is they played a lot of that second half with just 10 men. What about the sending off of Ethan Ampadu?
Well, he can have no complaints, Peter. He was late with the challenge and he caught Bernardeschi very badly. Wasn't too sure when I saw it happening in live, but when you see the replay, you see that he's very late and the referee is right there and he gets the red card out straight away. And when Ethan looks back on this, he'll be kicking himself. He shouldn't have gone for that challenge, and that's probably the end of his tournament, which is sad for such a young player.
Certainly is. In fact, the youngest player ever at the Euros to receive a straight red. Not something that he would have looked forward to going into that game today, but he was sent off, and deservedly so. First of all, Liam, you feel there are 3 players that have probably played their way into Mancini's thoughts in terms of team selection next time around.
Well, they've certainly given him something to think about. You know, one is Verratti, who we flagged up before the game. I think he's come in and had a wonderful match. Didn't you think so, Didi?
Yeah, he's done well. He's Liam mentioned it before. He's all action. He's an all-round player. He wins balls, he tackles, and he's a fantastic player. And you know what he gives to the team, especially today with the many changes, I think is composure, because he's always available, never gives the ball away. Here he wins the ball and sets the England attack in motion again. And he's just a very smart and clever player. And I think, look at this, just a little ball through the middle, and all of a sudden all the Welsh players run towards their own goal. And this is what he gives to them. Again, I think he calmed things down today with the new players coming in. I don't think Mancini will change it because, you know, the other 3 midfielders, they haven't done anything wrong in the first 2 games. So as well as he played today, this is probably the best of the lot. Look at the vision here. Brilliant.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think Locatelli and Barella have been very, very good, but certainly Mancini will be contemplating putting them in. He's
nice problem to have, Liam.
Yeah, great problem to have. I thought the squad was on show tonight was absolutely brilliant. You know, there were other players as well who came in and you know, are going to give Mancini, particularly the boy at the back, Bastoni. He's only 22 years of age, Peter. If Chiellini doesn't make it, are they going to go for the young kid at 22, or will they go for a Cherby who's 33, 34? I think on what I've seen tonight, Bastoni should be in the team.
Yeah.
And then you got Chiesa on the wing. You know, he's up against Bernardi for that place. I think he's given Mancini a lot to think about as well. He was powerful. He made chances for his team.
Yeah, as you said earlier, Liam, it looks like at the moment they've an embarrassment of riches on their hands, and a few headaches for Mancini, but good ones to have at the European Championships. So let's talk a little bit more about the Italians and Chiesa. I mean, Didi reckons, you know, it's going to be difficult for Mancini to change the starting 11 that has done so well for him in the first couple of games.
Both games they've won 3-0, Peter, and both games are outstanding, and the forwards delivered. But Chiesa today, I thought he was excellent, and the boy at the back, Bastoni, coming in at 22 years of age. I think if Chiellini's not fit, this is Mancini's. He was powerful in the air, left-sided, so he'd play with Bonucci. He'll give them balance. His distribution is very good. This is him breaking forward. Great ball into Bernardeschi there down the wing, inch-perfect pass. But he's like a chip off the old block as regards defending, you know, tight, strong. He's probably watched Bonucci and Chiellini down through the years, and he said, I want to be a player like those two, you know. I thought he was very, very good. And what do you reckon, Didi, if Chiellini's not fit, should he play?
Well, I think it's a no-brainer because he started the game. Acerbi came on. I think that decision is probably already been made because Acerbi obviously gave a chance away to Ramsey in the second half, and he didn't put a foot wrong. You know, I think Bastoni will be a certain starter. Chiellini's got a muscle injury. I'm not sure whether they risk him or should risk him, because if something happens again, you may lose him for the tournament. So I think that decision is made. I think he will play. When it comes to the other two, Verratti and Chiesa, they didn't do themselves any harm today with their performances. But it's also, how do you explain it to the other guys? You know, how do you say to Bernardi or Barella, you know, you got 6 points on the board, 6 goals, you get a breather because the other guys need a game. How do you explain it to these players? I think it'll be very hard.
Well, that's what Mancini has to manage over the next few days.